How's everyone doing out there? Welcome to a Word Hole Media presentation of Major League A-Holes. I'm Pete.
I'm Ryan. You are in the hole with Major League A-Holes, episode 162. We are approximately 1 week into this new 2025 season. We're coming to you on a really fucking rainy, awful Wednesday afternoon. There's afternoon games scheduled there in Chicago, and Tigers are playing this afternoon. So are the Cubs and A's. Your Giants are even playing in the afternoon.
3 o'clock.
Wrapping up those second series of the year, so we're coming to you a little bit early, so maybe everything's blown out of the water based on these afternoon games that we're not able to comment on, but who knows. But we want to talk about our reactions to the first 5 or 6 or 7 games, depending on what team you're talking about. Yeah. We really have to talk about the torpedo bats, the biggest story of baseball, so we'll do a quick segment off the top about that. And then we've got another typical asshole of the week, Major League Baseball, just stepping in it as often as they can every time. So I think with that, we might as well go ahead and jump into the news. Torpedo bats. Had you ever heard of a torpedo bat until this past weekend?
No, but it apparently takes, it has nothing to do with the skill of the hitter. It's all about the bat. I mean, I'm gonna go get one and go try out for a team because I got a torpedo bat.
I had never heard of torpedo bats. Apparently, they've been around. They were introduced potentially as early as last season, and nobody noticed. I found the reporting on this kind of hilarious. You and I are journalism majors in college, so we're kind of fascinated with reporting in general, but I feel like this has been botched completely. I've heard so many different stories about this. Like at first, it was the Yankees. The Yankees made these secret bats and unveiled them on opening weekend and just beat the fuck out of the Brewers, which is hilarious. The one game they had 20 runs. They had 9 home runs.
Yeah.
Aaron Judge had 3 on his own, although Aaron Judge is not using the torpedo bat, curiously enough. So
what? How do you do it then?
The way that it was portrayed is like the Yankees had this secret weapon. And as much as I want to shit on the Yankees or find some conspiracy theory against them, there's nothing new or secret about these bats. Like I said, they've been around since last season. I forget on the Cubs, there's a couple guys that have them going into the season. They were used throughout the spring training by the Yankees and nobody noticed. It's just everyone's freaking out last weekend over the production of and the power of the Yankees lineup. Everyone's trying to say it's just the bats, the torpedo bats. It's just not true. Everyone's had access to them. They're not secret. They've been around. Anyone can have them. And you're seeing them more, or maybe you're just noticing them more throughout the majors. People are trying to use them. But I think it's just so many Yankees players were using them is the big difference in why people started noticing. And they hit so many goddamn home runs.
Yes.
I think a lot of that has to do with their fucking miniature golf course stadium. That just it's not even 300 feet to right field. I mean, that's part of it. But the idea, I guess, we should talk about of the torpedo bat is kind of just to like emphasize the sweet spot of the bat. You could put more wood in that area and keep the same weight, keep within the limits of what Major League Baseball has set out. There's nothing illegal about these bats. That was the other big claim. Like, these are totally illegal. They're going to be banned. Right. No, they've been around for a while, and Major League Baseball says there's nothing wrong with these. I think they make sense, actually. You put more wood around where the sweet spot of the bat is. Why would you want more wood on the end of the bat where you cannot hit for power anyway? It's also, I've read that they can actually customize where that sweet spot is based on where that individual player typically hits the ball on the bat. We can now isolate that data where an individual really, like, their natural swing might not actually be the perfect typical sweet spot of the bat. If for whatever reason you look at how many balls they hit, where it hits on the bat, they can shift that sweet spot to their advantage where they naturally swing to. Yeah. I've read that. I don't know how effective that is, but that's the theory behind it, at least. So yet to be proven. I think people are going to be following this all year, and I think we're going to see more and more players use it. I think the funniest thing about this is like, we're 150 years into a game, and nobody ever thought of this before. Like, why are we just now like thinking about moving the sweet spot around? Why is bat technology suddenly thought about? So I think more than anything, it's just strange that it took till 2025 to see these. I guess part of that could be the technology to see where, like I was talking about just a second ago, where an individual typically hits the ball on the bat. Maybe StatCast can see this, or high definition TV, or however they measure that or find out. I don't know. You'd think a guy would know, where he'd notice that he doesn't typically hit it on the sweet spot. If he's always hitting it just below or just above, I think he would make that adjustment or think about adjusting his bat. But yeah, there's a thunderstorm going on here. I think I just got kicked off, so this might be an interesting recording. So I think I was talking about torpedo bats.
Yeah, we were talking about Tom Petty's album "Damn the Torpedoes."
Yes,
and no,
I'm glad you picked up on that.
Yes, no.
Yeah. So it's just funny that this is such a huge story, and it's really shouldn't be, or should have been a long time ago. So I don't know. Did you have additional thoughts about the torpedo bats?
Yeah, I mean, I think, to answer, in my opinion, to answer a question like you sort of stated, like why they hadn't done this sooner. I think it's like those weird fucking unwritten rules of baseball, right? Like the bat has to look like this because it's always looked that way, right?
Yeah, and they do look weird. I mean,
they do look weird. Yes, yeah, I agree. But at the end of the day, like someone probably just finally said, "Fuck it, this is going to allow the bat." Which, the other cool thing about it for a hitter is it allows maximum impact without putting weight onto the bat.
Right.
And that, we all know it's not so much like, yes, if you're really strong, like Aaron Judge, you're going to hit a few extra home runs that other people wouldn't hit, but bat speed, it comes down to bat speed. Mm-hmm. And the torpedo bat, kind of like the wood, it's almost like the wooden version of an aluminum bat right now. Yeah. It allows you just to get through the zone really quickly. So, I mean, I'm laughing like you're laughing at the whole fucking thing. Like, it's terrible journalism. They've been around for a few years, and then like making it seem like the Yankees were doing some super fucking shady thing with these bats we've never seen before. Okay, well, no, not true, because other teams are using them and have been using them.
So, I wish that was true, because then you could just like have them void their opening series, and they'd be done. They'd have to forfeit all those games for using illegal bats, but it's just not true.
No, it's more, the story is more fun that the Yankees were cheating, but that's not the case. I mean, cool. We got some new technology. We got some new bats. No one needs to fucking freak out. It's okay for change. I mean, we've experienced a lot of change in baseball over the last few years with rules and things like that people freaked out over, and larger bases. And I think everything's just improved the game. It's not like the pitching stats really outside of that series, and there's not like a anomaly where there's a huge amount of like bloated ERAs or anything like that.
Not yet. I mean, I think it's too small of a sample size to find that out, and I think people will be paying attention to that all year. But yeah, the other urban legend associated with the torpedo bat is that's what caused Giancarlo Stanton to have tennis elbow in both elbows and is out to start the season. So people are trying to blame the bat. He shot that down immediately. I think that was yesterday. He's like, there's not a story here. It has nothing to do with the fucking bat. So
yeah,
chill out.
What the fuck? Seriously,
I guess the other part that kind of led to the conspiracy theories was that the bat originally was developed by a guy from MIT that worked for the Yankees. So that was kind of thrown in there. But then I've read in other places that he also developed it when he was working for the Marlins. So I don't even know what's true anymore about this story, but that's just another example of the weird journalism involved in this, or lack thereof. So torpedo bats, we had to talk about it off the top. I named the episode, made a graphic for you there in the background. I'm glad you picked up on the Tom Petty reference as well. Even though the graphics is damn the torpedoes, I'm happy that they're innovating and coming up with ways to generate offense.
Yeah.
I feel like the pitchers have had such a huge advantage, pitch labs and all that. I feel like the batters have to step up their game as well. And if they can use technology like this to create more power and be more efficient, that's the game within the rules. So I'm not going to complain about more home runs. That's what people seem to love. So I don't think it's going to be bad. I think it's up to the pitchers to figure it out. Maybe they start pitching more outside to get the shitty tiny end of the bat, of the bowling pin they're throwing out there. So maybe that's something we see down the road, which could ruin everything. But I don't know. People fear change, so everyone's pissed off about it. But
yeah,
I just like to get some facts, and I guess the longer we go into the season, we'll know more.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to monitor that as the season progresses.
Well, as we're progressing, I think we got to start talking about our teams here and get our initial thoughts over the first week or so, and we're going to start again based on our A-hole standings. Led by your San Francisco Giants. Who would have known?
Who are these guys? Maybe you knew something I didn't know.
I did pick them to go to the playoffs this year.
You did pick them to go to the playoffs, yes. Unfortunately, there's 2 undefeated teams in their division.
They're in third place with 1 loss.
With 1 loss, they're in third.
Yikes.
Yeah, wow. This is the Giants formula, though, thus far this season. Like, how they are winning is playing Giants baseball. It's very exciting. I have to tell you, this is going to be a great show today because I have nothing but joy for baseball right now.
Wow.
It's
been a while.
2 years, at least an entire year last year, of pretty joyless baseball for me. I am fucking happy. I'm enjoying watching both of my teams play baseball. Both. The one that's here in Chicago on the South Side. They definitely have a new swagger, but we'll get into that. But
we'll get into that. Take it easy.
Giants,
target.
The Giants are winning through pitching.
Yeah.
Their pitching staff has a 2.66 ERA to rank 6th in baseball, a .93 WHIP. They're holding teams to under 200, just under 200 batting average. That is what they're doing. And they are, like I've always talked about, like I talked about this early on when we were doing predictions. Like, I think they'll have enough offense to score just enough runs to win as long as the pitching holds up.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's happening. Funny story. I don't know if you got the alert, but I think we have to talk about the new thing from MLB, the MLB alert jinx. I get an alert in the 5th inning of that Robbie Ray in the opening series had a no-hitter going into the 5th inning.
Wait, with the 5th inning they're talking about that?
Yeah, at the end of the 5th, they're like, first no-no of the year, watch Robbie Ray, he's dealing.
That's weak. We got to have a ruling. Actually, that's a good
segment. 7th inning or later.
Yes.
7th inning or later.
That seems reasonable to me. 5th inning? That's crazy.
Well, what
are you doing?
What happens in the 6th, Smitty? 2 home runs. He lets up 2 home runs and 3
could that
runs.
Be also the 3rd time through the order?
Oh my God. No way.
What are we doing?
Oh my God. Yes, exactly.
Jesus Christ.
But I mean, they're everything's playing into what you expect to see out of the Giants, and it's clicking right now. Again,
how do you like that Justin Verlander signing?
So far, so good. I thought his outings have been solid. I think he's going today, right? Is he today? No, sorry, Webb's today.
I thought he went.
Webb's today. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I thought he went. I forget what day he went, but
yeah.
I told you you'd like him.
Yeah. So far, so good. Like, all the starters have lived up. The thing that made me nervous, too, to start the season was our original closer, and his name escapes me right now, had back pain. So they had to go to
Ramos? I don't know.
They had to go to Duvall, who got sent down last year because he was a fucking disaster. Well, he comes in and has been fucking lights out.
Bullpen volatility.
He's back, baby. He's back. So now we essentially have 2 closers, so that's good. It's a good problem to have.
Yeah, that'll work.
Also, obviously, Jung Hoo Lee's back. He got injured early last season, had the separated shoulder that kind of took him out for the year.
Is that the Korean guy, the grandson of Wind?
Yeah, he
nice.
817 OPS right now, 4 runs, 2 RBIs, a stolen base. But the big story is Helios Ramos in center. His OPS is 1250. He is fucking carrying the team. You got Flores at 977 and Chapman at 878.
Oh my God.
We got fucking timely hitting. Timely hitting is how the Giants win baseball games. Keep the runs low, hit in key moments, walk away with the win. I'm loving it right now. Let's see as they play some better teams, down the road. That's interesting in some of these early series. Some teams drew really tough matchups to start the year, as I'm sure you're well aware of over there.
A little bit,
right? And then other teams, got some easier draws. So
got the Angels and the Twins,
like the Angels and the Twins. Yeah, the Twins, the team picked to win the division by all the experts. You and I didn't see it again, and again, we'll get into that in a little bit. But yeah, I'm pretty excited over the Giants. I'm enjoy this as long as I can. But
I'm excited that you're excited about baseball again. That's a big development for two dudes that try to do a fucking baseball podcast once a week. It helps if you actually enjoy the subject.
Yes,
hopefully more than just a few weeks. So that's awesome. Even though I hate your teams, I'm happy for you.
Well, hey, thanks for hating my teams. I hate your teams back. And on that note, why don't I listen to some hate?
Well, thank you. I'll start with the Cubs, as they're now 4-4, back to 500. They played more games than everybody. So it's been a weird start, just a bizarre season already. Starting in Tokyo, getting crushed. Well, yeah, pretty much crushed by the Dodgers. Staying in the Pacific time zone, then, or coming back to spring training, then staying in the Pacific time zone, playing the Diamondbacks. I picked to go to the World Series. I'm not sure I've seen that level of quality, but they're certainly a quality team so far. At least Eugenio Suarez is. I think he's hit a home run in every game this year. At least, or I think the stat is every hit he has this year is a home run. So former Tiger right there. So the Cubs kind of look familiar to what they have for the last few years. They have some offense, but then solid starting pitching, and then the bullpen just blows it. They should have lost 3 out of 4 games potentially in Arizona. They had one Saturday, I think it was, where they had a 4-run lead in the 8th and gave up 8 runs in that 8th inning. The night before, they were bailed out with a really smart play by Dansby Swanson with 2 outs in the 9th to preserve a save. That could have gone the other way very quickly. So dicey bullpen. It seems to plague Jed Hoyer somehow in the Cubs, but they've righted the ship subsequently as they have traveled to Sacramento, California.
Speaking of Little League parks.
Yeah, to a AAA stadium to face the Athletics. My Athletics, my fucking A's, are playing one of 2 teams this year playing in minor league ballparks to join the Rays. At least that was an act of God that forced them into a minor league ballpark, as the hurricane, I forget the name of the hurricane every time, it destroyed Tropicana Field. So they have a legit excuse to be playing in a sub major league standard ballpark. First impressions, did you see any of the games in Sacramento?
I've seen clips of it? Highlights, of the stadium.
Yeah, it's going to play small.
Yes.
And it's going to be a joke. Cubs are hitting the ball out of the ballpark. Kyle Tucker has had 4 home runs in his last 4 games, looking like the MVP, as I predicted. He started out a little bit slow, but he's certainly picked it up from there. So, yeah, I don't really know what to think of the Cubs at this point, considering what a bizarre way to start the season. They have their home opener on Friday, so I think things will get a little bit back to normal. But like you mentioned, they have one of the hardest schedules coming up beyond what they've already just facing all playoff teams home and away. So that'll really give us a barometer of what's going on. I think this first week or so is going to be an anomaly for so many different reasons. Tokyo, AAA ballparks, they haven't been home in months, so we'll see. But the biggest story, I should have let off the whole thing with this, is brace yourself.
Okay.
Cody Poteet has been traded. Do you remember who Cody Poteet is by chance?
Okay, he was acquired in the trade for Cody Bellinger, right?
Yes, I think
the Cody for a Cody.
I think the only reason you got that is because I brought it up pretty much every podcast for the last month. So other listeners to Major League A-holes probably know who he is. I'm not sure how many other people actually know who Cody Poteet is, but he was DFA'd last week and subsequently traded to the Baltimore Orioles for, you guessed it, cash considerations.
My favorite player.
Well, it's exacerbated because, first of all, he was traded for Cody Bellinger. Cody fucking Bellinger, who's now got 6 RBI, 871 OPS with the Yankees. He's looking
pretty
like
good.
Like a very productive offensive player. Maybe not an MVP, but certainly somebody the Cubs could use on their roster. Unfortunately, the directive for the Cubs these days is not about putting the best product on the field. It is about money. And we've talked about this over and over again. And it could not be more obvious than when not only do you trade Cody Bellinger for this anonymous player who has now been traded away just for more cash, you also gave the Yankees $5 million to take Bellinger off your hands. It's just the most frustrating thing if they would just admit it's a fucking salary dump. I mean, there is no other way to describe this, and yet they will not admit that's what they are doing. It's just math. I mean, it's so obvious. Look at their payroll from last year. It is now $40 million less than it was last season.
Wow.
So they are below $200 million. They are up and around just below 230 at the end of last season. That $40 million less, that figure might stick in your head a little bit too. That happens to be the amount of money that Alex Bregman is making per year now for the next 3 years with the Boston Red Sox. Well, that $40 million could have come from the Cubs, and he would be at least an adequate replacement for Bellinger, potentially. I think that you could argue their offensive stats and defensive prowess could be like for like, even though they don't play the same positions. But I could understand that if they wanted to get rid of Bellinger to improve the third base situation. That's not what they did. And that's what they were trying to sell us all offseason, is that's what they're doing. They're going to reinvest that money to improve the roster, and they fucking didn't. And whether it's incompetence, whether it's miscommunication, whether it's flat out lies, it has not been done. They are favoring money over the performance on the field. Fortunately for Jed Hoyer, at least, the division they happen to reside in might allow them to make the playoffs even without maximizing their roster and using the advantages they have. But that's been a mixed bag. I mean, I love to see Milwaukee get off to a bad start, but I'm always fearful what they could actually do down the stretch, because they always beat the Cubs somehow and win divisions when the Cubs haven't made the playoffs since 2020. It's just unacceptable. And not only is it unacceptable, they're fucking lying about it. So it's disgusting. I just believe less and less of what I hear from Jed Hoyer. I feel like his hands are a bit tied when you hear he has to beg ownership to make the fourth best offer to Alex Bregman. Far $60 million less than what the Tigers even offered him. It's just embarrassing. And they better make the fucking playoffs. I'm going to say this every week, because Jed Hoyer might have to be released. I mean, the owner's not going to fire himself. Someone's got to take the blame. They don't make the playoffs here. And Tom Ricketts has himself to blame. So we're early for asshole of the week, but the more this shit piles up, I could make Tom Ricketts asshole of the week every week. So they are lying to us. Don't let them lie to us. I'm actually disappointed to report that story we did last week, where season tickets are sold out now. I think I would have felt better about things if this is the first year in years that season tickets hadn't totally been sold out. So just to send a message to ownership, like, fuck you. If you've got a money strategy, just fucking tell us about it. Don't lie to our fucking faces over it. So that's my Cubs rant for the moment. I'm going to switch over to the A's real quick before we get to your White Sox, just because they're playing the A's and that clown show of a franchise and another miniature golf golf course ballpark. I had an idea on what the A's could do to make things a little more interesting as they are playing in a minor league ballpark, which they're going to have to do 81 times a year. And Craig Counsell even mentioned it for the Cubs. It's like, it's not ideal. Like they have to, to get to their clubhouses, they have to go to center field. Like they can't get to the clubhouses through the dugout. So once you're in the dugout, you're stuck there. You're not going to batting cages or, going down to get treatment or anything else. You have to run across the field into center field to get back to your clubhouse. So it's just not up to par. And Craig Counsell's like, it's fine. We're only doing this 3 games a year. So, but the A's are dealing with this 81 times a year. So I had an idea, just thinking if they're going to have to deal with this shit, they should do like a barnstorming tour of minor league stadiums. Like why are they in Sacramento? That's a Giants affiliate. I mean, it happens to be 2 hours from Oakland. It has to do with TV money. They had to be within I think they're doing their deals with NBC Sports California or whatever the fuck it's called. So that's why they landed on that. And I'm still shocked the Giants agreed to that to help out the A's in that regard. But I say the A's do a barnstorming tour of their minor league affiliate stadiums. Las Vegas is their AAA stadium, which is eventually supposed to be their final destination. That is a ballpark I'm familiar with just because of my job. I actually have done menu boards and different things for that stadium. So it's beautiful. It's actually much newer and nicer than the Sacramento ballpark. So that the facility at least would be better. Their AA affiliate is Midland, Texas, which I don't know anything about that stadium, but I think that'd be a really, really cool promotional event for the folks in Midland, Texas. If they had the A's come there, I'm sure they don't. Sorry, folks. More technical difficulties. Jesus Christ, I don't know what's going on, but we're gonna try and soldier through this. But I was talking about a barnstorming tour for the A's, but the real reason I wanted to do this is because the single A, high A affiliate of the A's is my hometown Lansing Lugnuts, where I now reside. So I can guarantee there are next to no Oakland A's fans, athletics fans in Lansing, but I guarantee a shitload would come out to see a major league battle. Whether it's, maybe they could coincide with the A's whenever they have to play Toronto, or of course Detroit would make sense, but Detroit's not going to give up a home game, or a home series. So it would have to be when the A's were supposed to be playing on the road or supposed to be playing a home series. If they could have like the Blue Jays or anybody having a major league series in a minor league park, like Jackson Field here in Lansing, it would be incredible. And honestly, I mean, I'm biased, but Jackson Field here is much nicer than whatever the stadium's called in Sacramento, just from the pictures I've seen. I can tell you the Lansing Stadium was renovated, $25 million renovation, just not even 10 years ago. It's got apartment buildings out behind right behind the outfield wall. It's just a super cool stadium. I think it would look great. I think it would be awesome. I just imagine the marketing opportunity for baseball, like having a major league team tour minor league stadiums. I think it'd be fucking cool. So if they're already going to be forced to be in a minor league stadium, why not spread the wealth, spread the love around? I think it'd be fucking awesome. So that's my idea there. And that's the end of my fucking A's segment.
Well, now I guess it's time to talk about the Chicago White Sox, the new look Chicago White Sox. And Smitty, I just want to start off by asking you a question. Do you know who has the best starting staff in all of baseball?
Would that be the Chicago White Sox?
Yes, it would. That's right. The Chicago White Sox starting staff has a .63 ERA, holding opponents to a .87 whip with a batting average of 138. Who the fuck are these guys? They're all like 10 years old, too. It's crazy.
I can't name any of them. Is Shane Smith one of them?
Yeah, Shane Smith went.
Jonathan Cannon? Is that a name? Am I making that up?
Yes.
I think that's all I got.
Sean Burke started opening day. Davis
Sean Burke
Martin
is a goalie for the fucking New Jersey Devils in the 90s.
He doubles, buddy. He doubles now. The one name you might recognize is Martin Perez because he had pitched for Pittsburgh, and he's
He's with Texas at one point.
Yeah, he's the crafty veteran on the staff who led the way. Who led the way the other day, the first game against the Twins where the Sox just beat the living fuck out of them. He had 9 strikeouts over 6 innings in that game. I mean, we thought the Twins were going to be bad. We didn't see what everyone else has seen in them. Now, that doesn't mean in 2 weeks they're not a completely different team. It also doesn't mean in 2 weeks the Sox might still only have 2 wins. I'm not saying anything like that, but like the Twins are just like, they're terrible.
It's hilarious. I fucking love it. What was the stat you shared on Twitter about your rotation? It's like the first.
Oh yeah, they're the 4th team in baseball history for the first 4 starters to not allow an earned run over the first 4 starts. And the most comical thing about it is, which I put in perspective on the stat, is it didn't make the team world beaters because every one of those teams, the best finish was 3rd place for the other 3 teams.
It was like, I forget, it was like the 2013 Rays and the 1998 Giants.
Yeah.
They all finished with like, I think 2 of them finished with like wins in the 60s.
Yep.
I think one had 76 wins. So yeah, it's not a harbinger necessarily of great things, but you got to have something to cheer for compared to considering the last couple of years of what you've dealt with and the outlook everyone, including ourselves, had for your Sox. So you got to enjoy the good times when you have them. That's still an amazing stat.
Yeah, I mean, the way the starters are going down, the bullpen's not horrible either. I mean, I think they're, they have probably like an ERA of 3.5 or something like that. It's not, again, it's so early and they're only playing they got to start out with, the frickin' Angels, who are
the Anals. The Anals henceforth.
Who are you could argue are like the California White Sox, really. Not just because of ex-players having Mancada and frickin' Timmy on the team, but just like the way the team has been run. And they wasted having Ohtani and Trout on the team at the same time, just like the Sox wasted. Well, I'm not even going to get into that because we don't want to be on here all afternoon. But the list of players, talented players they've wasted.
There's more Chicago connections. Kyle Hendricks is there.
Right, yeah.
Jorge Soler is there. There's one more, I think. I had it written down, but it was crazy how many Chicago connections. But did you notice the difference in reactions from the crowd from when Tim Anderson came to the plate for the first time and when Yoan Moncada came to the plate for the first and every time he came to the plate?
He was booed a lot.
I feel kind of bad, but it's justified.
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, I'm getting lightning and thunder here, so this could cut out at any second again for the 3rd time in the show, so be prepared.
All right. Take cover.
Jesus.
Don't put on any metal. Okay. Anyway, so like they've got 2 wins, okay? 2 wins. It took them 11 games last year to get 2 wins.
Oh, my God.
They had 2 wins in their first 4 games. I mean, that is a world of fucking difference. Like they executed a double fucking steal in the game because Will Venable was like, they fucked up the bunt and the guy I forget who it was, bunted to the first base side. They threw the runner out at third. 2 pitches later, he does a double steal and he's like, there we go. We got the bunt.
I like it. I like that a lot.
We got the fucking bunt.
I was listening to that on the radio when it happened. Like, that's fucking smart.
Yeah. I mean, they're not like, you have
a competent manager now.
Yes.
It's amazing what a difference that makes.
You're watching it going, we can win this game. We're in it. I'd like to see the offense generate a little more. I mean, we have had a decent amount of home runs already. I didn't look up that stat, but there's no way we're not just destroying the same point last season. We've had I think 8 home runs already. So
torpedo bats?
No, I don't think so. I
thought you had 1 torpedo bat, but maybe
we do.
Wrong.
Maybe that's
Cubs
what Benattendi's using. I mean, he's fucking on fire, that guy. But it's just it just feels good for the first time in a really long time. And Yeah, they got 8 home runs already. There's no way. They had like maybe 1 home run at this time last year. It's just, I don't know.
You haven't had good weather. It's not been home run hitting weather by any means. So.
No, and we know the tenderfoots on the White Sox don't get going until it warms up. The bats heat up when the weather heats up. But anyway,
like DJ right there.
But anyway, I did, after the opening day win, Robin and I headed to the ballpark on that Saturday game.
That's right.
It was a decent crowd. I guess there was around 20,000 people. And when I looked at the official attendance, it said there was like 20,185.
Yeah, you had 31 for opening day. So you were joking that there was going to be like 6 people at the game.
Yeah.
But it was a good crowd.
Yeah, I was shocked. I was really shocked. The weather, we went because all the rain got pushed out of the forecast and it was like 65.
Yeah,
I mean,
why not?
65 in a March game.
Yeah.
Why the fuck not? Crazy thing. So this is the giveaway for those of you who are watching on YouTube or whatever video. This is the giveaway. This is the 1917 White Sox shirt I'm wearing that I got, and it's got a nice little commemorative patch on the sleeve.
Navy blue. Is that a t-shirt or a jersey?
It's actually a t-shirt, but the Chicago's stitched. This is all stitched.
A fancy t-shirt. Yeah, navy blue t-shirt with the old school Chicago arch lettering. What does the patch say?
World Series, World Champions, White Sox.
Before you started throwing World Series.
Yes, yes, before that. Yeah, it's before that.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. You got to honor the good times as long with the bad. That's why to honor the bad times we're giving away the Comiskey bobblehead. So that'll be honoring the bad times. But
that's a solid giveaway. It looks pretty nice.
And for the first time ever, major announcement, we caught a t-shirt from the people tossing t-shirts.
Oh my God, I've never done that.
Here we
125.
Yeah, the 125 again, folks. The joke is old, but they only lost 121 games last year. So this is not commemorating the losses. It's a celebration of the rich White Sox history of three World Series champions over 125 years. Whoa, yeah!
Well, you're not on pace to lose in 125 games this year, so that's another reason you've got a smile on your face. I like that logo, by the way, the 125, and it was good.
Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
Well, Tigers started the same year. The whole American League started in 1901, so everyone's got their 125s this year. But I haven't seen the Tigers do anything to celebrate that, so that's interesting. Or maybe they will later on, but I've seen that logo quite a bit. So congratulations on catching a fucking t-shirt.
I know, it's about fucking time.
Do you have to fight off any kids to get it? Like elbowing?
No, it was lame too.
Throwing elbows?
It bounced off of someone and landed in our row. We're nice. T-shirt. I can't believe it. Charlie was all like, he's on spring break with his mom, and he's all like, "You what? You got a t-shirt and I wasn't there?" Yeah, enjoy Florida, kids. Shut up.
Nice.
But here, let me give you some White Sox at the park shit. All right.
Pete at the park. Yes.
Pete at the park. So here we go. First of all, they still have the fucking ancient metal detectors up. I thought they replaced
all those, or they just turned up the sensitivity.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's cumbersome to get into the fucking park.
Yeah.
Even with only 20,000 people, there's still a line you got to wait in. And all I think about is anytime I go to Wrigley, I get to just walk right in through that modern technology they're using. And I don't understand why MLB doesn't make it mandatory, because
for a safety issue, you'd think they could just say, you got to spend the fucking money. Do it.
Guntgate wouldn't have happened then.
No, it couldn't have. They would have detected that gun.
They would have detected the gun. GG. So there's that. Did try a couple new things. Of course, I got the Polish width. You can't not.
I saw the pictures.
Cannot do that. But one of the things the Sox were touting is they have a whole new list of cocktails this year.
Ooh, I haven't heard about that.
There's a 1900 Pale Hose Old Fashioned, the 1920s Southside Sling, the what is this? 1040s Hemingway Daiquiri.
Did you have each of these while you were at the ballpark?
Here's what we had. We had Robin wanted the Southside Sling, and I'll tell you what that is. That is tequila, pineapple, orange, soda, and cherry.
That sounds good.
And I had
for a hot day
the 1970s Pinwheel Banger, which was Jack Daniels, lemon, lime, peach, and vanilla. Let me tell you,
that's a lot.
It was. They were
Brush your
not
teeth after that one.
First off, I'd like to say kudos to the bartender because they gave you more than a shot, and that's all I'll say. I don't want to get anyone in trouble.
Where did you have to go for the? Are they everywhere?
Only at the bars. So this was the old number 7 bar in right field, like right as you're getting.
Oh yeah. I know where that is.
Yeah. So the little bit interesting. You would think because they're a ballpark and they're going to be trying to be pushing a decent amount of people through, they might take the the lemon, lime, peach, and vanilla and premix that and just have them add the shot to it. But instead, they're making every bartender do these drinks from fucking scratch.
Oh, well, maybe that's the selling point. So it's not a prepackaged thing. It's a real bar experience.
Yeah,
trying to give you more for your money there.
I mean, I was in no rush. We got there early. It was fine. But like I could, if it was backed up, I could see it being like pretty annoying. But I will say probably won't get either again. Like you said, a little too sweet.
Yeah.
The Pinwheel Banger, the one thing that was nice was like the peach kind of played well with the Jack Daniels, which I don't really like Jack Daniels anyway. So that's another reason not to get it ever again. But
what are you doing?
I thought I tried. And then you
just did it for the podcast.
Well, kinda a little bit. Through. Well, Robin wanted to try them, so we thought we'd each get one and then take sips out of each one and decide who's going to drink what. The tequila one was that one actually was a little bit sweeter than mine. It almost tasted like fruit punch, and I was like, "Oh,
no,
fucking terrible." So,
give me a Modelo.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I went to right after that. 24 ounces, baby.
How much?
Like a fucking can. Only $16.25. What a deal!
You used to have cheap beer, and that does not exist anymore. I don't think it exists anywhere. So,
well, the light was $14.25 for the 16-ounce can. Why not spend the $2 and drink something real? You know?
Thanks. Yeah, that might be outpacing Wrigley at this. I haven't been to Wrigley in a couple of years, so I don't know about that. But that's crazy.
Yeah. So no to the drinks. I will send you pictures of the drinks, so you maybe if you want to splice it into the podcast,
put them on Sox type thing on X.
Cool. And then
people.
The other thing I did try was, and I did a food review of this. I just haven't put the video together yet. But I went to Lucky's, the Korean restaurant that opened up in left field, which is where we were sitting on the left side. And I had
Lucky's, that awesome sandwich shop in Wrigleyville.
Yeah, the
10
one
years ago that shut down.
Yeah, that was the one that was like the Pittsburgh sandwiches.
Put the fries on the giant sandwiches. I fucking love that place. But this is now Korean?
Yeah, it's the Korean corn dogs and noodles and stuff. So I got the all-American corn dog, which was deep fried in Fruity Pebbles and had mustard and ketchup put on it.
Oh my God, what the fuck?
Let me tell you, it was fucking delicious.
Fruity Pebbles? Where did that come from?
I don't know how they came up with this. And what I would do, all I will say is next time I would probably just say, I would say a little easier on the condiments, especially the ketchup. But somehow, by deep frying the Fruity Pebbles, it took like the sweetness out of it.
Oh, okay. So it's texture?
Yeah, so it's just more like a crunchy, semi-sweet corn dog. I would say the ketchup provided more of the sweetness than the
you just go hold the ketchup.
Yeah. I mean, I gotta tell you, I did it. I was like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing with this thing because there was like a Flamin' Hot Cheetos one, and I'm like, that's probably more up my alley.
That's where I'd go.
But I'm like, I've had one of those. I've had a Korean dog before. That was a Flamin' Hot Cheetos one with Margot and I at this Korean dog place. So I'm like, I want to try something different. And I gotta say, I'm like, I don't know. I'm probably gonna fucking regret this. It was good. It was good. I give it a big thumbs up. When I get the video put together, you can see the ranking.
So there is video footage of you consuming all this.
Well, I'm. Tell me if this is a good idea or not. I think this is a great idea because I watch a shit ton of food reviews.
Okay.
And one of the things I don't like about a food review, the new way of doing food reviews, is watching someone open their big fat fucking mouth and eat the food. So I literally shot a video of me walking through going, I'm going to eat this, but I'm going to do something new for you guys. I'm going to spare you watching me eat it and then come back and give my review of it.
Just zoom in on your mouth full of food. I think that might be a good idea.
Yes. I was watching my other videos I've done for Food Frenzy. I'm like, why does anyone want to watch me eat?
I've noticed that on your Food Frenzies too, but I thought that's how you have to do it.
That is how everyone does it.
I didn't think anything else could happen.
No, like I watch every food review video, like a famous chef from Chicago, Jeff Murnau. He's a sandwich king.
Justin Murnau?
He goes around and does sandwich reviews around the city, and you watch him take a bite of the sandwich and then he gives a review. It's all because of Dave Portnoy.
I was going to say the first thing I thought of was Portnoy from Barstool doing his pizza reviews.
So that was like the main reason, like everyone I think feels the need to eat for you on camera. And it's like, what the fuck? No one wants to watch anyone eat.
Good Lord, no.
So overall, despite the Sox lost 1-0, it was
they've scored plenty of runs in all the games that you weren't attending. So
yes.
It's got to feel kind of troubling.
2 hours and 19 minutes only, though. I mean,
nice.
I was home in time for both of the basketball games for the Final Four. So, for the Elite Eight. So, yeah, it was overall a good experience. I do have one question for you, though, before we move over to the Tigers. I heard the other day on the White Sox broadcast, have you ever heard that players use baby oil to stay warm?
Is this a P. Diddy joke thing? Or?
No, it is not, which is funny because
someone else made that reference when you heard that?
Yeah, the Sox broadcaster said to Stone, you're not going to go with a P. Diddy joke here, Stoney? Yeah. Sheffrin said that. And then it got silent for a minute. But
I think you can't bring up baby oil at any point anymore. But I still don't even know the details of that whole story, but I think we can safely avoid that.
Yeah, but
no, I did not know anything about your White Sox baby oil.
Yeah, Taylor, the newcomer from was he at the Nationals last? Michael Taylor or whatever.
Oh, yeah, he may have been. That sounds familiar.
Yeah, he said Vaseline's too aggressive, so he uses baby oil.
Okay.
And I'm going to keep an eye on this situation because I feel like if you put baby oil on, your hands would be pretty fucking slippery, right?
Yeah, and then you put batting gloves on. You'll be fine.
No, what about when you're going to throw the ball in from the field? I'm going to watch. Is the ball going to slip out of this guy's hand on a cold day because he's all oiled up? I have concerns.
Well, I have more concerns than that, but that's neither here nor there. So,
but
if that's that's the least of the trouble you have with the baby oil in that roster, then I think you'll be in good shape.
Well, as long as there's no baby oil dick bumps like in the Cubs clubhouse, I'll be fine.
Oh my God, here we go.
Anyway, that's it. I'm in a great baseball mood. Let's go.
Maybe too good. Hopefully, I can bring you down a little bit as your White Sox are traveling to Detroit on Friday to take on my Tigers for our home opening series. That'll be fascinating to watch. Start the season in Detroit against the Chicago White Sox. I couldn't ask for more. Actually, that's how it's been the last couple of years, I think.
Yeah.
It's usually really early if it's not the first series. So
yeah,
I like it. Tigers we've basically established that the Dodgers are much better than the teams I love, the Tigers and Cubs, my teams are now 0-5 to start the season against the Dodgers. Fortunately, the Dodgers might be the greatest team ever assembled, so I'm not going to be too upset about it. Tigers actually did hold their own, I thought, in every game against the Dodgers. They did not look outclassed. It just didn't. They couldn't get over the finish line. They actually had more runners on base. They had more walks and hits in every game in total for the series than the Dodgers. I think it was like 32-23. The trouble is the Dodgers hit 9 home runs and there was always somebody on base and it was always perfectly timed whenever they needed it. They got the home run they needed. Tigers, I think they hit 3 home runs in the series and they're all single run homers. So it's just they didn't have the timely hitting. I think they're 4 for 30 something with runners in scoring position. So, but again, they weren't blown out because their starting pitching is pretty fucking good. Again, I like what I'm seeing. It wasn't perfect. Turk Skubal struggled a little bit. He's going this afternoon, hopefully to redeem himself.
He better.
Against the Mariners today. Flaherty returned to his former home in Los Angeles, got his World Series ring, which is a really cool thing. He looked very popular to return amongst the Dodgers. A lot of hugs, they miss him. I'm glad to have him back in Detroit. That's where he wanted to be. Saw Reese Olson have a solid start. Just there wasn't enough offense, and that's not too surprising, I guess. Not timely hitting. They got enough traffic on the bases. There just wasn't the timely hitting, which is it's just going to happen in baseball. So not the result, the 0-3 first series that you'd want, but I thought they looked a lot like the team that went on that tear the last 2 months of last season. Just great pitching, good bullpen. And just enough offense. They just need a little bit more. That's actually come to fruition in Seattle as their not so easy start to the season schedule keeps them on the West Coast up into Seattle, which has traditionally been a house of horrors for them. But the last couple of years, the Tigers have handled them. They've won the first 2 games in the series, and really, you're looking at the rotation for the Mariners, they might have the best rotation in the American League, and the Tigers have had no trouble with them at all. It's kind of crazy how many runs they put up early in games and not even beating up on the bullpen necessarily. It's been against their starters. So Tigers are starting to put together more timely hits. The good news through 5 games is they are putting runners on base much more than their opponents are, and that's how you win games. Get some traffic on the bases. The total is more. They've in every game, all 5 games, they've hit or walked their opponents. So I like that. Couple that with the rotation that I argue is the best in the American League. As we saw, not only of course Skubal, Flaherty, and Reese Olson. We saw the debut of Jackson Jobe as a starter, who's a little shaky. He had 4 walks over 4 innings, but the stuff is there. The stuff is legit, as he was the top pitching prospect in baseball coming into this season. So we saw Casey Mize last night pitch really well. I liked what I saw to Casey Mize, who's another 1-1 overall draft pick that has just not really lived up to the billing, but he's put on like 20 pounds of muscle and it looks like a different guy, and he's looked great throughout the spring, and he's continuing that on at least into this first start. So I like what I'm seeing there. One of the other great stories to see is Spencer Torkelson, the renaissance of Spencer Torkelson, which we saw throughout the spring. You never know if that's going to carry on. Well, it's carried on into the regular season. In fact, opening night in Los Angeles, he had 4 walks and a home run for his plate appearances. So he had a 5,000 OPS for the first game, which is not too bad. So he's continued that. That is a welcome sign. As the Tigers are dealing with all sorts of injuries that I enumerated in the last episode. They've even had more as Gleyber Torres has gone down with an oblique. That's actually kind of the first injury that's worked out in the Tigers' favor in a way. That's an area where they have some depth, as they can now just move Colt Keith back over to second. And then now that Torque is hitting, he's a solid, usable first baseman. So that kind of puts their defense back the way you wanted it originally, as they they were thinking they were going to be demoting Torkelson to AAA, and they were going to have Colt Keith move over to first, which is just not ideal since he's never played there before. So kind of feel like I don't want to see Torres hurt. He hurt himself hitting a home run, unfortunately. but the way it's worked out, they have depth at that position, so they can absorb that. So yeah, we'll see what they do. They've won the series in Seattle. They've kind of righted the ship. They're 2-3, which ties them for first in the division. The entire division is 2-3 now, except for the Twins. So yeah, it's an interesting mixed bag. So I'm excited to see them come home, play your White Sox. Either your White Sox prove that your starting rotation is legit, or you come back to earth, and we'll be able to make those summaries and our next episode, whenever that happens to be.
Yeah, I mean, the White Sox starting staff comes in with an ERA 4.05 lower than yours. So
advantage White Sox.
I like our chances. I mean, what would you say? I think the biggest issue too from your pitching so far has just been the long ball.
Yeah.
12 homers in the first round of games.
That's the Dodgers. I mean, the Dodgers went 9 home runs against us in those 3 games. So,
but like when you look at, like, you got to look, you got to look beyond those things, because like the starting pitcher's whip is only 108, and they're holding opponents to like a 1-something batting average, like 198 batting average. So it's like they're pitching well. It's just they got hurt by the Dodgers, the long ball, and like you said, they've rebounded nice in Seattle, and it's just a fact, folks. The Dodgers are world beaters, and maybe you catch them at the right time, hopefully in the fucking playoffs, and get them out of the way so we can enjoy the playoffs this year. But
yeah, I wonder when the Dodgers will actually lose their first game of the season, because they're now 7-0.
Yeah.
Yikes. I don't know.
But like I saw they almost won the one fucking game against the Dodgers. They had the runners on to take the lead in the top of the 9th.
Well, I could complain about this. Game 2 of the Tigers-Dodgers game, the Tigers took the lead in the 9th inning. Manny Margot, their new last-minute pickup from the Twins, he scored in the 10th inning, or in the 9th inning, and it was called safe at home plate. It was a close play. After a many-minute review by New York, instant replay, they determined he was out somehow. And the way I understood it, I've always understood the replay rule is you have to have clear and convincing evidence that the wrong call was made. And that play was so close, and all the very inconclusive replays, I think if he had been called out, they weren't going to be able to overturn that. If he was called safe, they weren't going to be able to overturn that. And somehow they fucking overturned it. Multiple angles just never could show whether he was actually tagged. It was a weird play, kind of dove over the tag, it looked like, onto the plate. Subsequently, the next day, Major League Baseball, or somehow it was released, the composite videos they put together. You always hear about the different angles they have in New York that we don't have.
Yeah.
It did show that he was tagged, but it was still super close. But my argument then is, why aren't we seeing these angles? If New York can have them, why can't these angles be distributed to the team broadcast for the fans? Who, last time I checked, the only reason the game of baseball exists is because it has fans. The only reason it exists is to serve the fans. So if you're making some mysterious decision with some footage that the fans can't see, you are doing a disservice to your fans. So how do we not show this shit to everyone? If you show it, then there's no argument. When you don't show it, it leads to conspiracy theories and mistrust and anger. And it was unnecessary. If they just shown us what they were seeing, that it would be not an issue. My other issue with replay is, if you can't determine whether it's clear or obvious an error was made, that the wrong call was made on the field within 30 seconds, it's not conclusive or obvious. If you have to take multiple minutes to figure this shit out, it's not conclusive. It was too close. Stop wasting our time. Just go with the call on the field after 30 seconds. That's the way to solve all of this. And if you're not going to show us the fucking angles you have, then fuck you. That actually leads really well into my asshole of the week segment that I'm going to have you help me participate in.
Yes.
Speaking of coverage by Major League Baseball, their MLB.TV app crashed on opening day. I think it was a series. It was like for the first 3 hours, it was out, or there was outages where it didn't affect me because I was working from home at the time and I was just listening to the radio. The TV feed was out, and I'm not sure that it was every single game, but it was enough that it created a stir, which is just embarrassing and ridiculous that on opening day, MLB can't even figure out how to give the product to their fans that we are paying $150 a year for. Just embarrassing. Even more embarrassing was their response to that. And I received an email, I think it was the next day or the day after, with a fairly sincere apology, but a ridiculous way to make amends for it. So I think you've got the exact email I received over there. If you want to read that to us all, and we'll react.
Let me read it. Dear loyal subscriber, opening day is one of the most exciting days of the baseball calendar.
Indeed
it is. It's the first chance to watch your favorite team and players start competing for a World Series championship.
Only if you're the Dodgers.
Right. And for over 20 years, MLB.TV has consistently given you the chance to stream those opening day games from wherever you are. Now, that line, I got to say, has MLB TV been in existence for 20 years?
I remember...
Like for streaming?
Yeah. I remember marveling when I was living in Chicago my whole life. And as soon as smartphones came out, I was thinking, if you could actually watch sports on your phone, like anywhere you want, anywhere you are, this would be the greatest technology that's ever existed. And I remember like riding the train home to from Evanston. So it was in the tent, the aughts. I don't know what, I feel like I didn't have a good enough phone until probably 2009. You had the original iPhone 3 or what was the first one?
No, I didn't have I had an iPhone like 2 or 3. I didn't get an iPhone right away.
Okay. Well, you were like a year, at least 2 ahead of me, but I don't know how well the service worked or how well cell phone coverage was back then. But when I had it, it was definitely in the aughts that I was just almost tearing up that I was sitting there on my commute, just watching baseball on my phone. Cause there's just the idea of growing up without having that technology. It was just amazing. So yeah, I think it's been close to 20. It wasn't widespread 20 years ago. I'd say that took closer to 15 years ago.
Yeah.
The technology existed. And if you had a perfect connection, you could actually watch a game.
Huh.
Yeah. I don't think they're lying.
Yeah. Cause I'm thinking like, that's the year that's the year Sox win the World Series. I don't remember having the MLB.
Yeah. Well, the iPhone came out in 2007. So that's what I'm thinking of, the mobile side, but they probably had on the website if you wanted to go.
Oh, you know what? You're right. That's what it was. It was the website. You could stream the games on your computer. That's it. Okay. All right. Well, thank God we figured that out.
Yeah, we just wasted 10 minutes of people's time on that. But.
Anyway, let's get to the meat.
Sorry.
Let's get to the meat of this.
Paragraph 2.
Unfortunately, MLB.TV experienced a technical issue yesterday, which would have been opening day, that resulted in a temporary inability to access our live game streams. While our technical
team... You had one job! Jesus.
While our technical team addressed this issue immediately and restored access as soon as possible, we understand how disappointing this was to fans who were eagerly awaiting the start of the season. For that...
that's all nice. That's all nice. And the apologies is nice. And it's accurate. They explained what happened, kind of. It's unconscionable that it happens on opening day. But so what do they do to make it up to us?
Well, first of all, they like to say, before they are going to make it up to you, they want to say MLB fans deserve the best streaming experience possible. And we will continue to strive to provide that.
Yeah, apparently Major League A-Holes podcasts subscribers don't deserve that because this has been the most technically glitched show we've had in years. So the irony is not lost on us. So we apologize for the stops and starts and potential. There's another bolt of lightning hits outside my window here. But
got a weird pause here. You're frozen. I don't know if you can hear me. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Okay.
That's ironic.
Now you're back. Right as you were talking about glitching.
All right.
All right. Are you ready? I don't know if you even remember what this is so good.
I don't remember what we're talking about anymore.
All I got to tell you is God bless MLB for doing something great for their fans with what I'm about to read to you.
Yeah.
To thank you for your support of the national pastime, MLB would like to offer you $10. What? $10 off any purchase of 25 or more at MLBshop.com.
I like the $10 until you got to the next 3 words.
See details below. Enter code. I'm not going to give it away because you'll probably use it on the new Tigers jersey.
I think we can just stop there, actually.
So wait, I just gotta let me process.
Let's process this.
Okay, so we spend $150 for the season, right? Up front, you spend $150 so you can have access to everything. They're going to offer you. They're going to offer you $10. You know, I guess it's one day. So I guess that's maybe generous. I don't know. But it seems it would seem better. I don't know. Like if there's somehow was just like a credit on your account.
That's not what they're doing though, as you read further.
No, they're going to sell more merchandise to you at $10 off.
They want you to give them more money. Literally that email could have said, "We fucked up. Give us more money." That is literally what that email says. You get a $10 off Fanatics purchase of 25 or more. So at the minimum, you're giving them $15 more, which I guarantee everything there is with shipping is going to be 30 plus. So it's bad enough it happened, then to offer an apology and then offer such an insincere, ridiculous apology. Just fucking assholes. MLB, you are assholes. You are assholes of the week.
Yeah, I mean, like seriously.
They'd have been better off just saying nothing. Like, that's fine. You know, we fucked up. Sorry about that. I guess not even do that. Just ignore it. Like, technical shit happens. We didn't intend for it to occur, but don't tell me you're like offering something, but asking for more money. Fuck.
Yeah, especially it's just a shitty offer.
I think Fanatics is shitty in general. We kind of talked about that a little bit last week as they've taken over all the retail sales inside Sox Park, which we've joked for years about the mediocre quality of Fanatics stuff. So this is just another layer to that. So it was another slam dunk, easy asshole of the week, I thought. Yeah,
I agree.
Well, I think we should wrap this show up before the power goes out or I get hit by lightning or something else technically goes on with this episode 162, which is a sacred number in all of baseball. So I guess it's fitting that baseball itself is our asshole of the week, and we're at episode 162. So with that, I will wrap this up. Unless there's anything Pete forgot.
Nothing I forgot, but I will tell you it is end of the world rain has started back up here in Chicago.
I thought I could hear something in the background there. Do you have thunder or is that just roaring rain?
Yeah, because we're on the top floor here. That's the rain hitting the roof. That is how loud it is.
So I take it the White Sox are not playing this afternoon on the south side.
Well, that's what sometimes this podcast is magic because
It's like we've been doing this for a while.
I'd like to say that the game is only officially delayed, not canceled. It's just delayed. So
people are sitting around waiting. Like, what a miserable fucking experience.
This is reminiscent of my game last year when it was snowing and they didn't cancel it and waited for everyone to get to the park and buy a few things and then say it's canceled.
You out. Yikes.
But I tell you what, I did look at Doppler radar and I think there's a window at like 4 o'clock. I think we got it.
All right.
Anyway, that's
good luck. Well, hopefully your MLB at Bat app is working. You can check out your Giants at 3 o'clock your time. So
that's right. I'm ready for 5-1 Giants.
I've got the Tigers and Cubs playing at the exact same time once again as they have played pretty much all year at the exact same time. So I've been switching back and forth.
Can't you do like a little pip thing with I thought the MLB app.
There's lots of ways. I can put it on my iPad versus I like to concentrate on one team. And it'd be nice to spread it out. So these are definitely first world problems. So
poor Ryan.
Hey, I'm paying a shit. Not only am I paying $150 just to essentially watch the Cubs, I've got my cable subscription and my internet subscription. So there's a lot of shit going on here. And I've got to pay an extra $15 to fucking Fanatics to get my $10. So it adds up. With that, I'm going to wrap up this fucking episode. In the meantime, you could catch this podcast anywhere you like to find a podcast. We're on the web at Major League A-Holes. We are on YouTube at Major League A-Holes. I think that's it. Oh, we're social media at Major League A-Holes. You're at Sox Type Thing on X. You're starting to populate that a little bit more. Be on the lookout for Pete at the Park. Or no, Pete's Food Frenzy. We'll do some cross marketing on that with your own video. I'll post that on Major League A-Holes channels as well. So I think with that, we can declare this podcast is over. Peace.
Peace.
Word Hole Media.